I started Takeout right when I got to my agency job when I started as an
Okay.
assistant. And coming in, I immediately realized like all of my friends that do creative things, they hold these networking events, but it's all creatives. And we
Right.
hold these networking events and it's all business people. And I was like,
Interesting.
there's no low pressure way for creatives to show their work to like up and coming young people in the business who in the next few years can make meaningful decisions and get things over the line and get things made without feeling like they're begging them to look.
Right.
And screening culture is big too. Young agents, young managers go to short film screenings, but it always
Okay.
feels really buttoned up. Like you wear a name tag and it feels like a business luncheon, whereas Takeout, the entire idea is like this should feel like you're excited to go. Like you're watching these shorts, and then we never do it in a theater. So when you stand up, you're already at the party. Like once the lights come up, you're at the party. You're staying.
Good day, Hope Lawson, founder of Takeout. Hope, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm didn't have to go to the office today. That's always a good thing. We
Nice.
had an office party last night. I was the least drunk person there, so I have a lot of good gossip to leverage at work on Monday.
Has I've read that like drinking has really decreased. Did you feel was the office party emblematic of that? Do you feel like drinking has decreased since COVID, or was it still like
I would
wow?
say I always joke that like Hollywood is one of the last vestiges of a martini lunch. There is a lot of drinking. It's part of the culture, especially like coming up, meeting people, being young. It is like everything's centered around networking things and
Right.
drinks. But my boss, my former boss, told me when I started, I came in and I was just hungover. I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I get why you're sober. I need to do it. And he looked at me and said, if you get sober before the age of 40, it'll be detrimental to your career.
What? And he was like straight face serious
So
about that.
serious. Yeah, he's a great guy, full of good advice like that.
Oh, Hope, that could be the funniest quote ever on the podcast. That's definitely going in the memorable
Good
quotes.
stuff.
That's so funny. So you founded Takeout, which is phenomenal. I feel like I'm talking to a kindred spirit here because it must be because you knew how hard short films are to like market. People put a ton of work into it. Was that sort of your thought process? You saw friends like making it, short films not going anywhere, and so you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to give you a platform to show your work.
Yeah, and it's also like coming in, I started Takeout right when I got to my agency job when I started as an
Okay.
assistant. And coming in, I immediately realized like all of my friends that do creative things, they hold these networking events, but it's all creatives. And we
Right.
hold these networking events and it's all business people. And I was like,
Interesting.
there's no low pressure way for creatives to show their work to like up and coming young people in the business who in the next few years can make meaningful decisions and get things over the line and get things made without feeling like they're begging them to look.
Right.
And screening culture is big too. Young agents, young managers go to short film screenings, but it always
Okay.
feels really buttoned up. Like you wear a name tag and it feels like a business luncheon, whereas Takeout, the entire idea is like this should feel like you're excited to go. Like you're watching these shorts, and then we never do it in a theater. So when you stand up, you're already at the party. Like once the lights come up, you're at the party. You're staying.
Oh, I love that so much. So what brought you to into filmmaking? What brought you to the agency?
I have a very I've had a
Love
lot of
it.
different
I'm here
jobs
for it.
in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in Virginia, went to school in
Okay.
Texas, and then I finished school in 2020. So not really the best time. I didn't go to film
Right.
school. My parents were like, "What are you going to do with your life?" I was like, "I don't really know." And I started emailing people in LA, anyone I could think of. And I was like, hey, I want to move to here. I want to work in film. I don't really know anything, but I'll do anything. So, and I'll be
I
happy to
love
be
that.
there.
Yeah.
When I got a job as a COVID PA, very glamorous. I started on the set of Miracle Workers. It was my job to get there at 3:45 a.m. and
Oh,
greet all of the really happy people on this freezing cold ranch so we can film a Western and tell them to put their mask up, stuff like that. But I really quickly, like, the lucky thing about it is it was a
oh my
brand new
God.
department. No one wanted to do that job. So I got promoted really quickly. I ended up being the COVID manager of the Fablemans, and I was making money hand over fist. But I was 24, so I thought that was going to be like my life. Like
Right.
after the movie was done, I'd keep making it. But it's a job I knew would go away. So I used like my connections from that to, I worked some costumes jobs, worked for an actress. I did some production office, worked for a producer. And finally, my last like boots on the ground production job was Minx season two. It's a great show. It used to be on HBO. And we just did so many overnights. And I was like, I don't think I can do this part anymore. There are so many parts of
Right.
this specific job I like. I love the people part. I love the logistics. I love planning, but it's the staying all night and feeling like once the production office stuff is done, I'm just here. I'm not giving to the process anymore.
Right.
So then everyone was like, you have to go get a job at a talent agency. And then you can do anything you want. You just have to stick it out a year. It'll suck. And I was like, all right. So I started emailing all the talent agencies. I did 1,000 job interviews, a lot of no's. And I ended up at Gersh. My first job, I skipped to the mailroom, which was great. My argument to my boss, I was like, I have worked more than all the kids that are assistants. I'm older than them. Give me a shot here. And now I'm the coordinator, which is very exciting. And I have
I
my own
love that.
email. I'm for the first time in 5 years in Hollywood, I'm no one's assistant. It's great.
Do you feel like that path is available to everyone? Like when you look at people, like you almost inevitably see every few months Hollywood Reporter runs an article about how hard it is to break in. Do you feel like people aren't working hard enough, aren't willing to take those jobs like at 3:45 a.m. like you did? Is there some sense that you have of that they're just not fighting hard enough for it?
I feel that I say this a lot. I'm like, it is hard, but it's supposed to be hard, right?
Right.
The really hard part of coming up is to like weed out the people who aren't gonna hustle hard enough. And like, it
Yeah.
sucks. It's not
Hey.
necessarily fair. And like, when you go to school for this and you're promised like this kind of easy path up, it's a lot
Yeah.
harder to motivate yourself to do like truly grunt work, like
Yeah.
physical labor
Exactly.
when you're like, I graduated. But I feel like it's a good thing. I think it is possible for anyone. And the way to move through this industry laterally is to be likable and happy and show up on time and do
Right.
anything without an ego.
That's incredible. And it gets me, right? Because you look at film schools, they're graduating with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. How are those filmmakers making the money back? Do you encounter these people? What are they doing to make the money back? They can't be making money with their short.
No, I would say like most of them. So I'll use my last takeout as an example. There was one
Yeah.
director we have, Josie Andrews. She directed a short, Miriam. It's beautiful, but her day job is directing non-DGA, like kind of soapy verticals. So a lot of
Okay.
directors like take the not so glamorous DGA jobs that pay decently well, like
Yeah.
2K on a job, day or two, and work their way up making short films. But it really is, it's a two job thing. It's like I don't make money off takeout and I have another job that provides. A lot of people work as assistants for a long time. And I think there's truth to being an assistant can get you that connection you need and can bring you close to the person you need to like bring it over the line. But there's the
Right.
flip side of the coin. That's if you're too good of an assistant and you start feeling like, oh, this is where they want me forever,
Yeah,
it's time to go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one's going to hand you your moment. You got to keep moving. As soon as you feel the path upward is coming to an end, move.
I love that. So Takeout, I think, is on its fourth edition. So when in your timeline did you start that? Did you start that before you got to Gersh? After?
I think 6 weeks at Gersh. My first one
Okay.
was just, I asked a bunch of my friends who I knew had shorts, and three of them were working with me at Gersh. And one of them, my best friend, who our moms got pregnant together from home. And it was like all a bunch of student films, my amazing talented
I
friends.
love that.
And I was like, please let me try this. I didn't make anyone pay to come. I got the venue to give me a sweet deal to try something out. And it worked so well that the next takeout, we had, I think, already 40 submissions for that one. What was so instant is, and this was a year ago, so it's grown so quick, and the caliber of films like are exploding. And it's because I identified that need. Like everyone wanted to feel their moment and then
Exactly.
be able to feel like when you're at an event, you, the host, you control the attitude of the crowd. And my attitude is
100%.
we are not pretentious here. Everyone is welcome. And like, we're all here to be friends, build community. And so it's beautiful to see, like, after takeout, how comfortable everyone feels walking right up to the directors and starting a chat, and like numbers are exchanged and people are then working on each other's shorts and things like that.
That's really interesting to me because I do see like agencies run film festivals, and I've always wondered, I've invited people on, never heard back. I've always wondered what is happening at those festivals. Are they trying to recruit? Do they invite filmmakers who they're trying to recruit to represent? Are they just trying to spread their agency's reputation? What are the goals of those little agency film festivals?
I think a lot of it is like tracking young filmmakers, especially. So the big three is like they are massive, and what they
Right.
do is like follow clients to hip pocket them. That's like a term used a lot.
Okay.
So if it's a young
And
person
what
who's like
Hope, what
maybe,
does that mean
oh, it
exactly?
means like before they're ready to be a client, you're helping them, you're staying connected, you're guiding them a little bit.
Okay.
And something people say often is you are always your first agent.
Okay.
And hip pocketing someone is being like, I see the potential here, but I need
Yeah.
to see if they can play the game themselves before I start setting them up.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And how does the filmmaker know? Is it just like following on Instagram? Is it like actual communication? What is the filmmaker thinking at that point when they're getting like a tepid communication from an agent? They don't want to sign them, but they're like tracking them. What is the filmmaker's awareness of that?
I think that probably depends. My I think honesty is really the best policy. And if
100%.
you want someone to be your client, but like, for example, for me, it's not like I have signing power across
Right.
the board. I'm a
Yeah.
nobody. But someone like a partner at the company can just sign indiscriminately. But if I were to
Okay.
want to sign someone, I'd be like, look, my company is not ready, but I want to try stuff with you. I want to work with you. And if
Yeah.
someone can get you to where you deserve to be faster, it's no hard feelings, right? If
Right.
someone can sign you and get you there, go. It's no
Yeah.
hard feelings. But I don't think that's typical of the
Right.
communication of hip pocketing.
And
It's
Hope, who is being signed now? Are they looking at people like YouTube influencers? Do you have to have a
hmm,
certain number of followers on socials? What is a filmmaker? What kind of attributes does an indie filmmaker have to be signed by an agency?
I think on the film side, I've seen a lot of the YouTube thing happening. YouTube
Okay. Yeah.
shorts, especially on the horror side,
Yeah.
are where agents are finding people who already have eyes. And in this kind of hard market, people say it a lot. It's a tough market right now because post strike, post fires, we are still figuring out the new model. And being able to take a name to an exec who they haven't heard of and then say, and look how many people have already seen this,
Yeah.
it
Exactly.
brings it over the line.
They must love what you've done at Gersh, though, because you've created something with Takeout that's authentic, right? Like the way that you describe some of those other film festivals, I'm imagining walking into a room and you maybe hear shoes clicking and it's like this quiet atmosphere and you're like probably just feeling like so nervous. Am I going to fuck this up? Whereas I think with Takeout, people come in, you can interact on a human level, doesn't feel a
Mm-hmm.
lot of pressure, and that probably creates deeper connections, from the agents to be able to connect with the filmmakers. It feels like more real.
Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to do. And I really do think I achieved that. I'm very proud of Takeout. And when anyone walks in, I say, hi, I'm Hope. Like, how did you
I
find
love
out
that.
about this? Welcome in. What's your name? Let's get a drink. And seeing people feel so, just exchanging numbers, even that like small move. And Hollywood
Yeah.
takes forever. And that, like, even that first step of like exchanging a number, 2 years later, you'll be like, wow, can you believe that it all started when I texted you, hey, save my number, it's me at 11:59. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think, and people at agencies say this a lot. When you're like in the mailroom, it's like a graduating class. Like everyone you're with will come up at each different level at the same time on the business side. And those connections are really important. And I think bringing young creatives into that kind of bubble where everyone's young and hungry now and we can't really do much, but once we're recognized and we get a little bit more power, we're going to remember all the people we met when we were young and hungry, and we want to make those movies.
That's amazing, Hope. So where are you in the submission process for the next takeout? So I think submissions are open now.
Yes, they're always open.
Okay.
We do rolling submissions. I
Okay.
haven't announced a date for the next takeout, but we will
Okay.
do January. I try to do
Okay.
3 or 4 a year, like
Yeah.
every season.
And then what happens after? So submissions are available. Like there's a Google Doc that you could do it right now when you're listening. So what happens when somebody hits submit?
It goes into a big spreadsheet for me. And then I have what I call my board of advisors, which is a rotating group of friends whose opinions I trust. And I think watching a film with people
Yeah.
is really helpful to like the selection process because everyone has different taste. And I really like to have a wide variety at Takeout. It's not like all female filmmakers or all horror or all comedies. I really try to have a big variety. And that means sometimes like I need to be hearing someone say, like, "Oh, actually, I loved this," and I'm not necessarily like the most like art house like educated film person ever. But when I bring my friend TJ in, who knows everything about every film ever made, I can learn more and see why that film really deserves it.
I love that so much, Hope, because I've had people on the podcast talk about their film not connecting with a certain festival because of race, ethnicity, gender, something like that. And it partially must come down to the fact they didn't have a diverse enough screening room, right? If you just have a bunch of like white guys or gals or whatever in a room, they're mostly not completely, but most of the time they're going to like similar things. But if you have a diverse screening group, then you're more likely to catch different types of film and it appeals to different types of audiences. So it's really cool that you do that. So in your mind though, what constitutes a great short? Is there like a formula that you are watching and you think, "Oh, this is great," and then you can think, "This is why I think it's a great film"?
I think with shorts, I know it's great because you have what, 8 to 20 minutes to make me care about something. And I think if a short tries to do too much in that short amount of time, it becomes something else. Yeah, I don't need a full story in this short. I need to see a glimpse of a really interesting world that like immediately makes me care. And I've seen shorts that are really beautiful. Like the
Yeah,
cinematography is amazing. I'm seeing like
right.
big, beautiful spanning shots. And a thought that often comes into my mind is we don't have time for this. We don't have time to see 3 minutes of scenery. They're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But like, I need, you got to get it out. So a good short makes me care about the people in it and wonder. And when it ends, I should be thinking about that world more. Like what happened after the short ended. I don't need to know the whole story. I need to want to know.
And is there any advice like you'd give somebody like after watching so many shorts? Is that sort of what it is? Like just make it something that I care about at the end, no matter what the runtime is?
Make it interesting characters, I think.
Yeah,
Like an interesting world and interesting characters. And that doesn't mean it has to be like you build your own new world, this big
right.
sci-fi fantasy thing. Like one of our last shorts was two nuns at the end of their like, amazing short. I'm going to name drop her. Confessions,
Yeah.
Stephanie Kaznocha. Beautiful film. And it's two nuns hanging out and talking about what decisions they would have made if they were 20 years old in 2020. You know what I
Ooh,
mean? And would
I
they
love
still
that.
have become a nun if they had all this freedom? And they go, and it's funny and unexpected and it makes you care. You want to be in this world for that 13 minutes.
I love that so much. So, are most of the shorts LA based? Are you do you take global submissions?
We take global for sure. Mostly LA and New York now, just because that's where I know people. Yeah.
Do you want people to be at Takeout? So how does Takeout work? Like the actual, so I think you've screened like 3 or 4 shorts.
Last time we did three, which was our least
Okay.
amount. And usually the rule is I do under an hour of programming. So usually
Wow.
that's 4 or 5 shorts. And I think under an hour is important because attention span. Like
Right.
attention span and getting people to come because people are invited to shorts all the time. Getting them to come and knowing it's going to be fun
Yeah.
and getting them to come for the shorts. But the way Takeout works, yes, we like our filmmakers to be there. I say we,
Okay.
it's me, but we like our filmmakers to be there.
The royal we.
The royal we, just because we do a Q&A after, it's just kind of me up there cracking jokes and trying my best, but it I like to have them there because meeting in person is crucial, I think, to
Yeah.
everything. And so few things happen in person in our daily lives now. Like people work at home, they meet people online, and in person, I think, is so important to foster connection.
And to be able to see it on a screen, like it gets
Yeah.
me that we're watching shorts mostly like on our computers, and it's so some director is sitting there like color grading or spending hours on a shot, and it's done on a second screen, watched on a second screen on a laptop. It's what the hell?
Yeah.
That's so unfair.
Exactly. And like feeling the crowd too is important to a movie experience. Like
Yeah.
when the room laughs. And one of my favorite things about putting Takeout on is like seeing how proud people are when they feel the room react to like their hard work.
Right.
It makes me feel so good. That's what I got into this to do.
This is so amazing, Hope. I love this so much. So, Los Angeles, have you fallen in love with it? What is it for indie films right now? Would you say that it's easier than when you first moved in, harder? What's Los Angeles now for indie filmmakers?
I think the community of Los Angeles indie filmmakers is I see my friends making tons of shorts. Like every weekend, you're going out, you're like guerrilla filmmaking.
Right.
I will say, like big studio projects, nothing's really shooting in LA. So there's a lot of it's returning to indie, right? And like the Duplass brothers are trying to bring indie television onto the scene, which I
Right.
think would be so cool. And I think the indie scene is going to reignite LA as far as like a place where people film.
Yeah. And new so I had director on Jeffrey Scotty Schroeder a few weeks ago who did a film which is very New York based, and he brought up the fact that he didn't think that there are a lot of independent films that really showcase Los Angeles. Do you agree with that? Do you see a lot of films out there that have Los Angeles as a character?
I think that's such an interesting question. And I saw it on your email, and that's the one I thought about the most. But I guess I'm like, you're right. But Los Angeles is so big, and like capturing all of it would be impossible. And an
Yeah.
indie film I love about like the LA like experience is Ingrid Goes West, like Aubrey
I love
Plaza.
that film. That
Love
film is
that film.
fantastic.
It's so good. And that captures like part of that's a real part of the LA experience, but it's a
Yeah.
different film than that one with Kiki Palmer that just came out, Kiki Palmer and SZA. That also is like a film about LA. It's about South LA. There's a big
Yeah.
difference between being from the Palisades and like being from. So there's so many LA stories, but you're right in the fact that there's not one where people are like, that's the LA movie. Whereas like
Yeah.
in books, like the people are like Eve Babbitt's, that's the LA
Right.
book lady.
So, Hope, do you see yourself possibly making the real LA independent film? Is that something that you see in your future?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it would be really fun to produce in the future, but I'm always like, I hesitate to make a 5 year plan always because I'm
Okay.
like, what works for me is like, I'm going to do my best today. And then as things happen, I'll pivot, like I'll change up.
Yeah.
And so right now I see myself at the agency for a while, but yeah,
Okay.
I've always felt like I could get back into being a producer and kind of, I do miss set sometimes. I guess the motto of me is I love to help. And I have had people ask me to come on and as a producer and all this stuff. And I'm
Right.
like, I'll help 100%, but I don't know if I can do all the help you need. Give me whatever credit is fair at the end of this. I'll help as much as I can, is my answer. Yeah, I would love to have my name be like produced by Hope Lawson. Like she saw it from the beginning, she brought it
Right?
together. Cool.
But no more 3:45 a.m. mornings.
Those are tough. I would say those are tough. The PAs are going to have to do that for us. I'll cruise in at 6. No fratter days on a Hope Lawson set. I hate a fratter day.
Are agencies still pushing in? You mentioned you are home today, but is it still like back in the office, long work days, networking at the end? Is it still just a pretty grueling experience?
I would say yes. I think the most grueling is when, and people have different opinions. The most grueling is when you're an assistant to me, because it doesn't feel like freedom. It's boring. Like
Right.
nothing is, there are no stakes for you, right? Besides,
Right.
I'll get in trouble with my boss or I won't. But the fun part of being a coordinator or an agent now, in my opinion, is like my work feels more meaningful because I'm trying to do something, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm pushing my agenda for the first time. I'm going out and I'm playing this social chess. And so it matters more to me. So yes, I work all the time, but sometimes there are moments where it doesn't really feel like work. I get a lot of lunches. I love lunch. So I got into this business.
Oh, Hope, I love this so much. So, indie film podcast, love hyping other people's projects. I'll refer, is there, and maybe I missed it, but is there, I'll ask this in two ways. The first, of course, you can recommend all the Takeout films. Is there like a list somewhere of just the different films that you've screened at the previous four Takeouts that I can send people to and they could
I can
possibly
send you a
watch the
list.
film?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can send you all of our like links and stuff. We don't have a
Okay.
website because I'm not really good at
Okay.
computers, but it's on the way. The goal
Nice.
at the end is to have like our former Takeout alum, I like to say. Yeah, it's fun. And I like kitschy branding things. So like I'm gonna grab one. This is one of ours.
I
So
know.
like,
I saw them like all lined up at the event. I'm like, I want to go to this. This is so
oh, you'll have to
cool.
come next time. And it's like a little menu. And so we want to do things like that. But yes, I will send you guys the list. And I would love if you could link them in the podcast. We can do names. I don't know how
100%.
it works, but
Yeah.
these people definitely deserve the eyes. And now we've screened like 15, 20 films actually. So I'll
Do
send you a big
you
link.
Hope, do you feel like there's one platform that highlights short films like that has more influence than the rest? Like I keep finding out about new ones. They're short of the week, Vimeo, staff picks, whatever. Is there one platform to you that sort of rises above the rest in terms of notice that get allows a short film to get?
I think Vimeo and Staff Pick is
Yeah.
like the most known one.
Yeah.
I'll throw a shout out to No Budge because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think what they did is really cool. And a lot of my friends have had their work featured on No Budge, and the way they keep it around, unlike the Vimeo Staff Pick, which is it's like a searchable kind of YouTube thing, whereas
Right.
No Budge is like a little smaller. Like the
Yeah.
list is smaller to get on it, not upload your
Right.
video. So I think they're really, I would always say No Budge. Shout out Gersh clients now.
I love that. And it's so frustrating for me because a lot of times when I'm talking to filmmakers who have a short film, the listeners can't watch the film. So I'm talking with somebody about a film that people can't like actually watch. So it's just, and then a lot of times like a short film that is in a festival circuit, people are reluctant to put it on YouTube. Do you have any sort of advice for people of what to do with their short film? Do you feel like people are a little too twee with it, like they want to protect it and at the expense of it not getting more exposure on just like uploading it to YouTube?
hmm I don't know the festival rules, so I know that we don't call Takeout a festival because there's some world premiering rules at the bigger
Right.
festivals. So if that's what
Okay.
you're going for, I understand not you don't want to disqualify yourself.
Right.
But yeah, I do think sometimes people are a little too twee. And I get the idea of like creating this sense of like exclusivity around your work,
Exactly.
but you can cool kid yourself into no one seeing your work ever. I'm like, Okay. And I've been turned down to people have turned me down to screen at Takeout because they don't feel like it's like they don't want to ruin their image of being
Uh-huh.
cool. And I'm like, what image? It's like, and the coolest thing you can do is be like open and honest. And the kids who put their stuff on YouTube and got a million views, like they have agents. They're hosting
Yeah,
Emmys. They're
right.
at the Oscars on the carpet talking to people. Your work needs to be viewed.
Right.
And there's
Oh,
a line
that
like, I get this is why agents managers exist. Like
right.
we understand that creativity is a huge part of this, but also
Yeah,
strategy. There is like my best friend who is an amazing animator. Her name's Corinne James. Amazing animator, amazing filmmaker. She her mind just doesn't work in the networking way, right? Like
right.
she consults me all the time because we're figuring out what is the best way to make her look the best and play that social chess. So sometimes you're playing against yourself if you're not showing anyone your work. Or,
Do you feel hope that there could be wrong moves in social chess? Do you feel like there could be wrong moves for somebody? Because I'm the same mind as you. Like, just get your work out there. But are agents thinking like, oh, maybe this platform might not be the right place for you? Or are there moves where you could choose wrongly about where you're showing your film?
I think the social chess move is more about it's about presenting yourself in like you, right? It's not about
Right.
where you show it, what you do. It's like when you are there and presenting
Right.
yourself, are you going to be remembered as someone they would love to work with because you were gracious and kind to
Yeah.
people, polite, and have good ideas, but also don't have a big ego. Like the best kind of
Right.
client is someone you can any meeting they go into, you know that the call after is going to be like, they were great. Like, they're the best. We had the best Zoom. We had the best coffee. It's awesome. The worst call is, hey, like, they were mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't
Yeah.
love that. And so the social chess is more selling you as a person because Hollywood, when you're making a movie, you're together with these people for 15, 18 hours a day. It's like summer camp or an asylum. It's something like that. And if they don't like you for 1 hour, why would they want to be around you for 15 hours a day? No matter how great and creative you are, if like you are not fun to be around, people do not want to work with you.
And do you feel like that social media has made it better? Like the fact, like I'm thinking that there
Mhm.
are probably less assholes out there because simply because you can send out a tweet, send out a post, tell your friends more easily, send a recording of somebody acting like an entitled asshole. Do you think it's gotten better, or does it still surprise you that some people act like jerks?
I'll never be surprised by people acting like jerks, I guess. And I think there's a big I also say like this canceling cult like I would never cancel someone for acting like a jerk. I would tell them
Yeah,
that they're acting like a jerk. There's
yeah,
like cancelable behavior and then there's also like just being a dick.
right,
And if you tweet out this person was a huge dick to me, it's probably like a one favorite, retweet.
right.
So social media has both made it better and worse because it also allows people to lie. Like people are scared and I think really mistrusting, especially if they get to a certain level. No,
Right.
no one on the top like trusts anyone because they're so scared of anyone using anything as leverage on the internet. So good and bad.
This has been so fantastic. This has been really like eye opening in terms of things that people don't really aren't able, unless they're involved in the agency world, they're not
Mhm.
able to have like these types of conversations. Like I feel like a lot of filmmakers aren't aware of all the things that are going on in your day to day life. It was really interesting that you talked about how there's two separate really meetings of like business and filmmakers, and that really is they don't really connect, and that surprises me that that's
Mhm.
the case.
And there's like the stereotypical agent entourage asshole. But one of my favorite agents ever in film is the one in you'll find out I'm really bad with names. It's the Charlie Kaufman adaptation. His agent.
Okay.
And he's like just playing basketball the whole time, checking out girls, like the very like classic look. But I think there's a new kind of representation being born, and people are realizing like this kind of asshole, no transparency between the creative or secretive or sneaky maybe doesn't really work anymore, or maybe there's like a different way to do it. And
Yeah.
so I want to always try to be transparent about what goes on at an agency, because lies and like stepping around stuff, like it doesn't make people feel good, and they know, and they're going to internalize that, right? Like art is hard to share. So
Yeah.
it hurts when people say it's not for me or not this time. And if your agent or someone who's supposed to be your team member is not being real with you, you can start to feel like hurt by that. Really, do they think my work is good? Am I being used? All living inside your head, because you're not at the office every day with all these other people talking about crazy stuff.
It must be hard to be in your job and also not good with names. So I
So it's horrible.
because
So
like
bad.
people must come up to you and be like, "Hope, great to see you again." And your mind is like tracking, okay,
Every
who are
time.
you? Where did I meet you? And then you have to say, "Oh, it's great to meet you." And you're still like trying to figure out like who that person is, and they know you, but you don't. So that must be very frustrating.
It's super frustrating. And again, I'm like, honesty is the best policy. It's the only thing I can do. I always have to be like, by the way, my name's Hope. I don't know if you forgot. I forgot yours. I'm so sorry. Like, I have to ask a couple times. And something weird with my brain is like seeing it in written word. If I've emailed with you a few times, I know your first
Yeah,
and last name and how to spell it.
yeah.
But if you just say it to me, it's gone in an instant. Like in an instant. You say, "Oh, my name's Taylor." And then I'm like, fuck, I forgot it already. I stress out trying to remember it that it goes away.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the army and I was a general's aide for a while, and the same sort of problem. Like you had meeting tons of people, and I think why the worst experience that I had was somebody came up to me and I didn't know their name, and they were like, you could just see like how crestfallen they were, and they actually said to me, "But I thought we had such a moving conversation." I was just like, felt so
We
horrible. I was
did.
like, I'm sure we did. Yes, I was listening, like I was paying attention, but it's just so hard to remember everyone's name, and like it doesn't take anything away from our conversation, but
No.
gosh,
And I'm like, the name is the least important part. I'm like, I remember the whole convo. I remember your
right.
personality. I remember everything about that. But name's gone for sure.
So I got distracted and asked six separate questions, but where I
All
was
good.
going with that originally, Hope, was indie film podcast. Love hyping other people's projects. I'll link all the as many films as I can from Takeout because, of course, you recommend those. But is there a film or filmmaker out there, and it can be a feature that you wish more people knew about?
Hmm.
I know, a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Something you've watched and love that maybe people
I
don't
mean,
know about.
I feel like a lot of filmmakers have really amazing shorts that people don't really watch. One of my favorites, Christoph, I'm going to say his name wrong, I'm sure. Christopher Burgley, hopefully. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. If you ever listen to this, I would love to have you at Takeout and screen your short. It is called A Cult Member Hears Music for the First Time. Have you seen that?
I have not.
Okay, watch it on YouTube right away. It is so perfect. It is a perfect short. A cult member hears music for the first time. I won't say anything else about it because you
Okay.
won't ever know where it's going or really
Yeah.
understand until you do, but it's perfect. So that'll be my celeb shout out. Watch that one.
Hope Lawson, I have loved this conversation so much. You've given me so much information that I didn't know about indie filmmaking. And just you can tell from your personality that you're really opening. There's probably nobody at Takeout who's sitting there next to the wall on their phones looking like sad and depressed that they're there.
Never.
They have met you and you probably introduced them to 10 separate people there. I just love what you're doing for independent film. And please come back. Like, so in January, please come back so we can introduce like the Takeout films. I think that'd be something really cool. And then give your description of like why you chose them. I think it would
Yeah.
be really cool. And I just love this idea of promoting people who are making short films and making their life easier because it's so hard to what they're doing. So it's so cool that you're doing what you're doing to help support filmmakers. And I am so grateful for you for coming on a Friday to chat with me about it.
Thank you so much for having me. I got to say, my first ever interview on a podcast, so I think I killed it.